The Battle of Teugen-Hausen, or the Battle of Thann, was an engagement that occurred during the War of the Fifth Coalition, part of the Napoleonic Wars. The battle was fought on 19 April 1809 between the French Third Corps led by Marshal Louis Nicolas Davout and the Austrian Three Army Corps commanded by Prince Friedrich Franz Xaver of Hohenzollern-Hechingen. The French won a hard-fought victory over their opponents when the Austrians withdrew that evening. The site of the battle is a wooded height approximately halfway between the villages of Teugen-Hausen in Lower Bavaria, part of modern-day Germany. Also on 19 April, clashes occurred at Arnhofen near Ebensburg, Dunzling, Regensburg, and Pfaffenhofen and Derilm. Together with the Battle of Teugen-Hausen, the fighting marked the first day of a four-day campaign which culminated in the French victory at the Battle of Eckmühl. Austria's invasion of the Kingdom of Bavaria caught Emperor Napoleon I of France's Franco-German army by surprise. Though the advance of Archduke Charles's Austrian army was slow, mistakes by Napoleon's subordinate Marshal Louis Alexander Berthier placed Davout's corps in great peril. As Davout withdrew southwest from Regensburg on the south bank of the Danube, Charles tried to intercept the French with three powerful attacking columns. The first Austrian column missed the French altogether, while Davout's cavalry held off the second column. The third column crashed head-on into one of Davout's infantry divisions in a meeting engagement. Generals of both armies led their troops with courage and skill as the troops fought over two ridges. French reinforcements finally pushed the Austrians off the southern ridge late in the afternoon, and Charles ordered a retreat that night. This opened a clear path for Davout to join the main body of the French army on 20 April. Background: Austrian plans. On 8 February 1809, the Austrian Empire determined to make war on Napoleon. Led by Foreign Minister Johann Philipp Stadion, Count von Warthausen, the brilliant diplomat Clemens Wenzel, Prince von Metternich, and Empress Maria Ludovica, the war party pointed to the 1808 French disaster at the Battle of Bailén in Spain. However, Archduke Charles wished to put off the war in order to fully mobilize and find allies. Archduke Charles, appointed Generalissimo after the debacle of the War of the Third Coalition in 1805, had tried for 3 years to improve the Austrian army. Historian David G. Chandler wrote, "Charles was the very best man available to Austria to lead her army. He expanded the number of regular soldiers to 340,000 and created a large body of 240,000 Landwehr troops. He upgraded the artillery corps, adopted the corps organization, and revised the infantry drill book, incorporating more French-style tactical evolutions." Serious deficiencies remained, however, in Austrian staff work, in the Landwehr organization, and among the non-German nationalities. At the start, only 15,000 of the best Landwehr formations were added to the field army, while the rest were relegated to garrison duty or the reserves. The Habsburgs did not wish to arm the population for fear of an insurrection, and therefore the Landwehr was never fully utilized. In Hungary, the nobles and people were cool toward the war and contributed as little as possible. Archduke Charles in the Halfkriegsritt sent 50,000 in two corps to Italy under General der Cavallerie Archduke John, and 40,000 more in one corps to Galicia under Feldmarschall-Lieutenant Archduke Ferdinand Karl Joseph of Austria-Est. Charles massed the remaining regular army in Bohemia and along the Danube for the main effort. Charles's 206,906-strong Hort army was organized into 6 army corps and 2 reserve corps. The I Army Corps was led by General der Cavallerie Count Heinrich von Bellegarde and numbered 27,653 men. The 2 Army Corps commanded by Feldseemeister Johann Kolowrat counted 28,168 soldiers. The three army corps consisted of 29,360 troops under Feldmarschall-Lieutenant Prince Friedrich Franz Xaver of Hohenzollern-Hechingen. The IV Army Corps of Feldmarschall-Lieutenant Prince Franz Seraph of Orsini-Rosenberg controlled 27,800 soldiers. The V Army Corps was commanded by Feldmarschall-Lieutenant Archduke Louis and numbered 32,266 men. The Vi Army Corps was made up of 35,693 troops under Feldmarschall-Lieutenant Johann von Hiller. The I Reserve Army Corps was directed by General of Cavalry Johann I. Joseph Prince of Liechtenstein and counted 18,063 men. The II Reserve Army Corps was directed by Feldmarschall-Lieutenant Michael von Kienmer and controlled 7,975 soldiers. Originally, Archduke Charles deployed 6 corps in Bohemia with only 2 corps south of the Danube. This proved to be too ambitious for the Austrian High Command, so 4 corps were transferred south of the Danube. Accordingly, the I and II Army Corps remained in Bohemia. The 3 IV and I Reserve Army Corps formed a central mass under Charles, and the Vi and II Reserve Army Corps made up the southern flank guard. Operations on the 9th of April 1809. Archduke Charles gave notice to the French ambassador at Munich and Marshal François-Joseph Lefebvre that Austria and France were at war. The next morning, Charles's army began crossing the Inn River in an invasion of the Kingdom of Bavaria. Only Lefebvre's 7th Corps of 3 Bavarian divisions were available to oppose the Austrian onslaught. Fortunately for the Franco-Bavarians, it took 6 days for their enemies to reach the Isar River near Landshut. Napoleon did not expect the Austrians to declare war, but when it became obvious that war was imminent, he believed that hostilities would start after the 15th of April. From Paris, Napoleon ordered Marshal Louis Alexander Berthier to form the Grande Armée Écoutée de la Main from French and Allied units located on the Danube front. To Berthier he sent orders to concentrate at Regensburg if the Austrians invaded Bavaria after the 15th of April. If, however, his enemies attacked before the deadline, the army was to assemble farther west at Donauworth. By misfortune, an order that Napoleon sent on the 10th of April did not arrive until the 16th. A second order, elaborating on the first order, arrived late on the 13th. Berthier was an excellent chief of staff to Napoleon, but as an army commander he was out of his element. In the confusion, he misinterpreted the out-of-sequence instructions and ordered a forward concentration at Regensburg. Berthier commanded Davout, who had been sensibly concentrating rearward, to collect his corps at Regensburg on the left wing. Meanwhile, the right wing of the Grande Armée Écoutée was 120 kilometers distant, with only a thin line of Bavarians holding the center. On the right wing, General Nicholas Oudinot's 2nd Corps was ordered to move toward Regensburg, while Marshal André Masséna's 4th Corps was directed to move from Ulm to Augsburg. On the 16th of April, the Austrians forced a crossing over the Isar at Landshut. Early the next morning, Napoleon reached the front to take over from his harried subordinate Berthier. He quickly ordered a new concentration near Ingolstadt. To this end, the Emperor recalled Davout's 3rd Corps from Regensburg on the south bank of the Danube. Lefebvre's Bavarians must hold the center until Davout got away. It was not until the 18th of April that Napoleon realized that 80,000 Austrians menaced Davout. He decided to send Masséna toward Landshut to threaten Archduke Charles's rear in an attempt to take the pressure off Davout. Meanwhile, the Emperor instructed Oudinot to support Lefebvre, and directed General of Division Dominique Vandam's small Württemberg Corps to march east from Ingolstadt. For his part, Archduke Charles was aware that he had a chance to destroy Davout's corps. Order of battle. French Forces 3rd Corps, Maréchal Louis Nicolas Davout Corps Artillery Reserve, Général de Division Antoine Hanneck 12 PDR Foot Batteries 2nd Division, Général de Division Louis Friant Brigade, Général de Brigade Jacques Gilly 10 EME Régiment d'Infanterie Léger 33 EME Régiment d'Infanterie de Line Brigade, Général de Brigade Louis Grandot 108 EME Régiment d'Infanterie de Line Brigade, Général de Brigade Claude Herveau 111 EME Régiment d'Infanterie de Line Brigade, Général de Brigade Joseph Barbanegri 48 EME Régiment d'Infanterie de Line Divisional Artillery, 8 PDR Foot Battery 4th Division, Général de Division Louis Vincent Leblanc de Saint-Hilaire Brigade, Général de Brigade Guillaume Latrille de Lawrence's 10 EME Régiment d'Infanterie Léger 3 EME Régiment d'Infanterie de Line 57 EME Régiment d'Infanterie de Line Brigade, Général de Brigade Jean-Marie d'Estabanrith 72 EME Régiment d'Infanterie de Line 105 EME Régiment d'Infanterie de Line Divisional Artillery, 8 PDR Foot Battery, 6 PDR Horse Battery 3rd Division, Général de Division Charles-Étienne Gudin de la Sablonnière Brigade, Général de Brigade Claude Petit 7 EME Régiment d'Infanterie Léger Brigade, Général de Brigade Pierre Boyer 12 EME Régiment d'Infanterie de Line 21 EME Régiment d'Infanterie de Line Brigade, Général de Brigade Jean Duperlin 25 EME Régiment d'Infanterie de Line 85 EME Régiment d'Infanterie de Line Divisional Artillery, 8 PDR Foot Battery, 4 PDR Horse Battery, Austrian Forces 3 Army Corps, Feldmarschall Lieutenant Friedrich Franz Xaver Prince of Hohenzollern-Hechingen Artillery Reserve, Oberst Johann Smolar 6 PDR Position Battery 12 PDR Position Batteries Light Division, Feldmarschall Lieutenant Joseph Philip Vukasovich Brigade, General Major Moritz Liechtenstein Archduke Karl Legion Archduke Ferdinand Hussar Regiment No. 33 PDR Brigade Battery Brigade, General Major Joseph Fanzelter Peterwood Ina Grenz IR No. 9 Hessen Homburg Hussar Regiment No. 43 PDR Grenz Brigade Battery Divisional Artillery, 6 PDR Cavalry Battery Division, Feldmarschall Lieutenant Franz Joseph Marquis de Lusignan Brigade, General Major Nikolaus Kayser Schroeder IR No. 7 Wenzel Collorder IR No. 56 6 PDR Brigade Battery Brigade, General Major Ludwig Thierry Kaiser IR No. 1 Lindenau IR No. 29 6 PDR Brigade Battery Divisional Artillery, 6 PDR Position Battery Division, Feldmarschall Lieutenant Franz Xaver St. Julian Brigade, General Major Alois Liechtenstein Manfredini IR No. 12 Würzburg IR No. 23 6 PDR Brigade Battery Brigade, General Major Joseph Bieber Kaunitz IR No. 20 Württemberg IR No. 38 6 PDR Brigade Battery Divisional Artillery, 6 PDR Position Battery, KIR equals Infantry Regiment, BNS equals Infantry Battalion, SQNS equals Cavalry Squadrons, PDR equals pounder, where 3, 4, 6, 8, or 12 represents the weight of the cannonball in pounds.